Gregory Keene turns the next page on the dossier on Dumetrius.
In the last stages of our hunt for Dumetrius, matters boiled down to a hunt for the Gestapo loot. Max Rubenstein had contrived to double-cross Dumetrius, even though they'd killed him. The cabin trunk hidden at the sanatorium had turned out to be full of old newspapers. So what had been done with that £1 million? Someone had it. Someone who'd been close to Max Rubenstein, someone he could trust. So I did the obvious thing. Katz and I spent a day at the Rubenstein galleries going over every scrap of paper in the place, on the off chance that we'd find some sort of indication to Rubenstein's closest associates. It was about 2 a.m. when we finally gave up, and we'd drawn a complete blank. But Dumetrius hadn't. At that very moment, he and Jotte Blum were in a block of flats in Birdcage Walk, with a very frightened Frenchwoman on their hands. We didn't know she existed then.
Jotte, come in. So, Max Rubenstein described me to you, did he, Miss Dupont?
Yes, you are Dumetrius.
Then, since you know me, we'll drop the pretense. Perhaps you also know what I want from you.
I don't know anything about why you are here.
Just before his death, Max Rubenstein was preparing to leave this country. Do you want me to believe he was leaving you behind?
I do not know anything.
Take a good look at my friend here. We want that cabin trunk Max Rubenstein committed to your care, and we don't care what we have to do to get it. Do you understand that?
But you have to believe me. Max told me nothing.
I happen to know from him that he told you a great deal. You know what was in that trunk? £1 million in cash and gems. You know that Max Rubenstein was a traitor. You probably worked with him in France during the war. You know he was Ruben Janus, the Gestapo informer. That's how he came to have the loot in the first place. When he substituted the trunk of the loot for the other, he had very little time. So if you value your life, you'll tell us when it is.
But you have to believe me. I don't know anything about it.
Would you really like to get better acquainted with Jotte here?
No, it does not matter what you do to me. If I don't know anything, how can I tell you? I knew Max was going away after sharing the loot with you. I knew he was Ruben Janus.
The loot's no good to you, you know. You can't betray us. You'd have to account for our interest in you. And if the police started making an interest in you, how would you account for your possession of £1 million of Gestapo booty?
But I do not possess £1 million worth of Gestapo booty.
Rubenstein would have trusted it to no one else. He wasn't a trusting fellow. That's why I'm certain you and he were together in France. Would an inquiry about you at the French embassy be a good idea, Miss Dupont? 30 years old, dark, extremely attractive, green eyes, small mole on the side of your mouth, and inseparable from Ruben Janus, the collaborator. Would the French embassy be interested, do you think?
Why would you do that to me?
I'm merely stressing how impossible it is for you to go to the police about us. Now we've wasted enough time. I'm certain that if the loot's not in your possession, you know where it is. Do you remember reading about a man named Godowsky a few weeks ago? And a pawnbroker called Quinn? And a nightclub owner called Mazzotti? They lost their lives because of that loot, Miss Dupont. And so did Max Rubenstein. Do you wish to join them?
No.
You'd much better be sensible.
How can I? You will kill me for nothing.
I see. You elect to be obstinate. Very well. You take matters out of our hands. Jotte, tie her to a chair and gag her.
No, keep away from me.
Now, first we search your apartment. I don't expect to find the trunk here, but we'll look nevertheless. I can think of several safe places you might have chosen for it. I'm hoping we'll find some indications. If we don't, Miss Dupont, you'll have to be persuaded. Jotte can be so very persuasive. So while we're searching, make up your mind what you're going to tell us. And how soon.
What do you make the time, Katz?
A bit after 2, sir. I don't know what my Aunt Minnie's going to say. Kept waiting up like this hour after hour.
You know, it's funny the way we have to defer to your Aunt Minnie whenever you happen to think we're wasting our time.
Yes, Major Keene.
No jokes, Tom. What do you really think?
Oh, it's a terrible long shot we're trying to bet on, sir. Here's this Max Rubenstein, alias Reuben Janus the traitor, willing to murder and cheat and betray his own countrymen to the Jerris for what he can get out of it. He manages to trick Dumetrius, a bloke what doesn't trick too easily, and whips the loot out from under his blinking nose. Now, what would a chap like that do trust in anyone? Anyone! With $1 million quid's worth of falloose.
Uh-huh.
But Rubenstein did something with the swag, and he did it on the double. Now, we've been here in this bloomin' Rubenstein gallery since this morning, just on the off chance we might hit on something that'd tell us if Max Rubenstein had a mate.
Yes, you make a good point there. Rubenstein would certainly trust no one. It's very likely that he simply couldn't understand even the concept of trust. Must have taken some very odd types cuts to hand their own people over to the SS, knowing just what would happen to them.
Yes, sir. So what in the world did Rubenstein do with that cabin trunk?
Well, you had a good look at him once or twice, Cuts. What did you think?
Well, he looked to me, Major, like a bloke who put his own blooming pleasure above everything else there was. I take his clothes. I couldn't have been better as far as I could see. He wasn't fat, but he was tubby. The ring on his finger. I could picture him after dinner in one of them toffee places in the West End, leaning back with a big, glass of brandy and a cigar, like Winston Churchill.
That's about it. Cuts, the chap wasn't married, you know. Now, would Max Rubenstein have trusted a woman where he wouldn't trust a man?
He was a froggy. There might just be a woman in his background, like one he might have trusted. Enough.
And so all we have to do, having conjured her up in our imaginations, is to find her.
Well, she won't be here in the Rubenstein galleries at 2:30 in the morning, sir. And I've been thinking. There's my poor old Aunt Minnie, a dear old duck.
All right, you want to call it a day. Leave my coat over and we'll get some of these lights out. Yes? Yes, we're just leaving. Well, just a minute, make sure of that. Oh, the Green Peony, yes, we know it. As you say, not the place to take the loved ones to. All right, we'll make it nicely. Good show, Adams.
Adams?
Yes, Cuts. Adams on duty at the embankment.
Well, where do we go from here?
You heard. The Green Peony, Lovejoy Street, Soho.
Would it be Eustace Manningley, sir?
Yes, Cuts, it would be Eustace Manningley. With information for us, for cash, and all in secret. Now, let's get a move on. Even Eustace Manningley won't wait all night.
For a nice new crackly tenner, Eustace Manningley wait till Gabriel started blowing scales and arpeggios on a snake charmer's pipe, sir. And for 20.
Well, Yachty, anything?
Nothing.
Well, it's quite evident there's no cabin trunk here in your flat, Miss Dupont. Yachty, take that gag out of her mouth. Stand by in case she decides to make a commotion. I'm rapidly losing patience with you, Fleur, whatever your name is. You look as though you spend a good deal of time and trouble on your appearance. Do you?
Oh, my mouth. It was too tight, that sticky foot.
Do you?
Yes.
One unnecessary sound from you, and neither time nor trouble will be a scrap of help to your appearance again. Now then, what did Max Rubenstein do with the treasure?
I don't know.
Speak up!
I don't know.
It's a pity. Max's taste was excellent. If he were here, I should congratulate him. Yachty, you really are being dreadfully stupid. You're about to lose your beauty. Perhaps even your life. And for what? Do you imagine you could ever spend a penny of that loot? Max Rubenstein had 4 confederates who, since his death, will already be converging on London to see what's become of their loot. And you, my dear, will be at the very focus of their attention. If you're alive.
What is he going to do with me?
Where's the loot? God, in the name of these women. Gag her and begin, Yachty. We could babble here all night.
No. Don't put that.
Where is it? Where is it, you obstinate squaw? Where is it? Quickly. All right, you've only yourself to blame.
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you where it is.
Oh, what a lot of trouble you could have saved us and yourself. Very well, Miss Dupont, let's get it over. Yachty and I don't want to outstay our welcome, do we, Yachty?
Right home, Bentley. What is it this time? Why you have to drag cuts and me to places like this is...
Oh, they suit me. Well, Yachty Blum's been seen in Soho.
That's not worth 20 quid.
No. But he was looking for a woman called Fleur de Pont. There's a Pole who calls himself Captain Maycheck. He's not my type at all, but Yachty has a job for
How
him.
do you get hold of all this, Manningley? Sometimes I think you don't tell us enough.
I tell you everything, Major Keene. This man Maycheck was sent to get the Dupont woman's address. Do you know where he went? The Rubenstein Galleries. I don't know what he found out, or who the woman is, or what they want her for. I only know that Yachty Blum's after her.
What do you think, Cuts?
I think he gets his 20 quid, sir.
So do I. Yachty Blum's not the only one after Fleur du Pont, Manningley. We're after her, too. And if I'm not mistaken, we'd better hurry if we don't want to find a DOA.
DOA? What's that mean?
Dead. On arrival. If they'd found the woman's address, I thought, they'd have a head start. We only knew her name. We had to work from there. And knowing Dumetrius, DOA seemed to be something we could well look forward to. I can tell you the next 12 hours were rather busy, but we found Fleur du Pont before they were up.